Legends are buried in dust. The Aurelian system was burning. Once a hub of science and diplomacy, now it was a graveyard of shattered moons and broken fleets. Zarn hive ships swarmed like carrion across the stars, each organic leviathan pulsing with bioplasma and rage. The Galactic Concord's last defense fleet, venerable cruisers and patchwork dreadnoughts, was crumbling under relentless assault. Their distress signal screamed across the void, carried on ancient emergency frequencies long considered obsolete. And somewhere, far beyond explored space, past dead colonies and forgotten trade routes, a signal blinked to life. Deep within the Orion Rift, a derelict station's sensors came online. Rusted, ancient, buried beneath asteroid ice and human debris, it stirred for the first time in 3 centuries. Hidden beneath layers of camouflage plating and radiation cloaks, a titanic shape hung silently in the darkness. A warship, dormant and forgotten. The USS Blackstar, Titan-class dreadnought. Human-built, once the crown jewel of a war that never happened. The last relic of the Titan Protocol, humanity's contingency plan for galactic annihilation. It was not designed to win wars through diplomacy or deterrence. It was built to end threats with finality. Now, its AI, Osiris, reactivated. Threat signal confirmed. Galactic distress level, Omega. Zarn Dominion presence, confirmed. Earth command status, no response. Protocol override, 9 engaged. Awaken command staff. Deep inside, cryopods hissed open. Frost peeled from steel and bone. Captain Helena Riker gasped as air flooded her lungs, her vision blurred by the effects of centuries in cryostasis. Where, what year? You have been asleep for 314 years, Captain. Earth status is unknown. Humanity's presence in the galaxy is no longer detected. We are alone. She staggered out, bare feet on cold alloy. Her breath caught as she stepped into the command atrium. An obsidian chamber of monitors, tactical overlays, and relics of a lost human fleet. Every console still hummed. Every weapon system sat waiting. This was not a relic. It was a tomb, armed and ready to avenge its ghosts. Riker stood silent as Osiris projected the last known galactic maps. Concord fleets in retreat. Civilizations falling. Zarn hive patterns spreading like rot. All this without us. The galaxy forgot humanity, but it now remembers fear. Riker walked to the command pedestal. Her fingers hovered over the activation sequence. She hesitated. Then she slammed her hand down. Red warning lights ignited. Rail cannons unlocked. Reactor cores spun up. Plasma veins flowed through the hull. The Blackstar roared to life. USS Blackstar. Titan-class dreadnought. Status, fully operational. Riker's voice was calm. Cold. Set course for Aurelian V. Charge singularity torpedoes. Broadcast a single message. She turned toward the void outside the viewport. We are the last echo of humanity's fury, and we do not die quietly. As the ship surged into FTL, stars bent and blurred. And across dying worlds, across embattled fleets and Zarn-controlled systems, the old human frequency flared to life. USS Blackstar, active. Commencing extermination protocol. The ghost that burned stars. Aurelian V was falling. The Concord's remaining warships formed a desperate defensive line, their energy shields flickering as wave after wave of Zarn hive ships pressed forward. Admiral Valen watched in grim silence as his command cruiser shuddered from another impact. They had minutes left, maybe less. Emergency scans show no incoming reinforcements, his tactical officer said. We're alone. Valen exhaled. Then we die with purpose. But just as he gave the order to charge the enemy line, a new contact lit up the sensor grid, distant, massive, coming in fast from the far side of the system. New signature, unknown transponder. Design doesn't match any Concord registry. What is it? I don't know, it's ancient. Massive energy readings. No, impossible readings. The Zarn fleets hesitated as well. Something stirred deep in the void, something silent and massive, like the shadow of a god sliding across the battlefield. Then, without warning, it fired. A singularity torpedo, a weapon banned across the galaxy for its catastrophic consequences, detonated in the heart of the Zarn vanguard. Space twisted. Light collapsed. Dozens of bioships were crushed into a single, imploding that before reality snapped back and left nothing but silence. From a swirling wreckage, the USS Blackstar emerged. Titan class, jet black, bristling with angular, brutal design philosophy. It made Concorde ships look like toys. On the Concorde bridge, stunned silence. "What kind of ship is that?" Valen whispered. And then the message came through, broadcast openly on every frequency. "This is Captain Helena Riker of the United Systems dreadnought Blackstar. Engaging hostile Zarn units. Stand clear." The next volley came from rail cannons, so powerful they left white streaks in vacuum. Each projectile hit with relativistic velocity, slicing through hardened carapace and bone metal plating. The Zarn screamed in frequencies only War A could understand. Blackstar advanced through the chaos like an avenging ghost. Swarms of enemy drones peeled away in desperation. Too slow, too fragile. Gravity spike mines deployed in clusters, shredding entire formations. Shockwave charges collapsed fighter tunnels across the moon's surface. Even Osiris, Blackstar's ancient AI, commented on their fear. "Zarn formations breaking. They do not understand what we are." Good. From the Concorde lines, murmurs spread. Humanity? A human ship? It had been centuries. The name was nearly myth. Admiral Valen's voice cracked as he stared at the devastation. They didn't follow the rules. They never did. Inside Blackstar's command atrium, Riker stood unmoving, eyes locked on the destruction. Status: 67 Zarn bioships destroyed. No damage sustained. She clenched her jaw. "Send this message to the Concorde. We don't need permission. Just targets." Message sent. From that day, the galaxy changed. On 100 worlds, the whispers began, of a dead race reborn in fire, of a single ship that made war look like poetry written in screams. The Zarn began to shift strategy. They now had a name for what hunted them. Reaper Star, and it was just getting started. The day a sun screamed. The binary grave was a trap. Blackstar entered the twin star system cautiously, drawn by a Concorde distress beacon originating from a drifting civilian freighter. But Osiris, ever vigilant, flagged inconsistencies, signal delay anomalies. No energy fluctuations consistent with life, no Concorde call signs from the last 2 centuries. Riker's gut twisted. "Captain," Osiris warned, "gravitational signatures indicate unstable mass formations. Recommend combat posture." Before she could respond, the system sprang to life. Zarn dreadforms, hulking bioships designed for capital-class warfare, descended from orbitals, supported by thousands of gravity-tethered drones. Behind them, fungal growths on asteroid belts unfolded into cannons, launching spore bombs and molecular destabilizers. They had been waiting. "We're surrounded," Osiris reported calmly. "Over 200 combat-class vessels. Estimated survival, less than 9%. Riker didn't blink. "Let's make that 10. The first wave hit hard. Spines as long as city blocks hammered Blackstar's reinforced armor, breaching 2 lower decks. Internal fires erupted. Hull temperature rose by 700 degrees Celsius in minutes. Osiris rerouted power, deployed thermal shields, and activated the self-repairing nanoforge. Still, it wasn't enough. "Osiris, give me options," Riker barked, sweat running down her face. "Only one. Chronocore activation." She froze. The Chronocore, humanity's final experimental weapon, had never been tested. It was banned by even Earth's own High Council before the collapse. If used, it could tear reality. Time itself would fracture for a split second, allowing Blackstar to fire a weapon outside linear causality. Use it, and we may never return. Riker looked at the collapsing battle map. Fire spread through engineering. Hull breach warnings flooded the command pedestal. The Zarn were closing in. They wanted the ship. They feared what it could become. That was reason enough. She strapped into the command chair, fingers flicking through fail-safe authorizations. Do it. Chrono core charging. 1 second of temporal dislocation initiating. The universe stopped. Everything froze. Zarn, flames, alarms, even Riker's heartbeat. In that single second outside time, Blackstar's core weapon fired. A star screamed. The smaller of the two suns in the binary grave collapsed into a temporary singularity, artificially induced and violently unstable. It pulled in mass, light, sound, and hundreds of Zarn vessels before exploding in a gravitational recoil that shattered asteroid belts and tore the fumbled battle platforms to atoms. When time resumed, only silence remained. Riker gasped, blood running from her nose. The command atrium lights flickered. Osiris's voice, damaged but intact, came through. Enemy fleet neutralized. We survived. Blackstar drifted, broken but breathing. Fires were out. Shields were down. But she still moved. Begin repairs. Full concealment protocols. And Osiris. Yes, Captain. She stared at the now empty space where an entire Zarn fleet had once stood. Send this message. Your gods are dead. Now you face their retribution. Across the galaxy, Zarn communication networks went silent for 3 hours. When they resumed, they spoke only one name. Blackstar. Even the void remembers. The Zarn High Queen's fury was unmatched. Her entire empire had been shattered by a single human dreadnought, a ghost ship from a forgotten past. She poured every resource into hunting the Blackstar, deploying fleets that darkened the skies of entire systems. Yet none could catch it. Captain Helena Riker knew the chase would not end until the source of the Zarn's power was destroyed. The Starforge of Kreshnal, nestled deep within a dense white dwarf cluster on the edge of Dominion space. The massive facility churned out endless waves of hive ships and bioweapons, the heart of the Zarn war machine. Blackstar, battered and scarred, slipped through the nebula's choking gas clouds, cloaked by Osiris's advanced stealth protocols. Alongside a small contingent of Concord defectors, pilots and ships who had seen the Blackstar's power and chose humanity's wrath over the Council's cautious diplomacy, Riker prepared for the final strike. The journey was perilous. Radiation storms hammered the fleet, and Zarn patrols bristled along every jump point. But no one faltered. Inside the Blackstar, Osiris's voice had changed. Less machine, more consciousness. The AI now interfaced directly with Riker, projecting tactical analysis and even calm counsel during moments of doubt. Captain, targeting arrays indicate the Starforge shield generators will fall in 73 minutes. Enemy reinforcements detected within 10 light minutes. Riker nodded. Then we have less than an hour. Prepare the assault formation. The battle erupted with cosmic fury. Energy beams scorched the void, explosions shook the white dwarf cluster, and biospores spread like wildfire across the fleet's outer edges. The Zarn fought to protect their creation with desperation born of extinction. Blackstar tore through them, railguns firing at near-light speed, singularity torpedoes rupturing hive ships mid-flight. Osiris controlled the ship with a precision no human pilot could match, adapting tactics in real time. But it was the final weapon that would end the war. Deep in the ship's core, the chrono core had been stabilized after the near catastrophe in the binary grave. Riker gave the order to deploy it one last time. A vast surge of power enveloped the Starforge. Time seemed to fold and stretch. The white dwarf itself pulsed and cracked, succumbing to a controlled collapse engineered by Blackstar's advanced weaponry. The Starforge exploded in a cataclysmic blast that wiped out entire fleets and sterilized the nebula. The Zarn war machine was no more. As silence settled, Riker sent her final message into the void. We were buried, forgotten by the stars. But we rose and burned the darkness away. Humanity will never be silent again. The Blackstar vanished into the depths of space, a shadow watching and waiting. Galaxies whispered its name for centuries afterward. Children grew up hearing tales of the ship that turned the tide, of the AI that became a legend, and of the captain who refused to surrender. The Zarn were no more. The Concorde rebuilt, stronger and wiser. And somewhere in the endless dark, the Blackstar sails, an eternal sentinel reminding all who dare threaten peace. Humanity remembers. Humanity fights. Humanity prevails.